Hello, everyone, and welcome back to We Know Love Island here on RHAP. Today, we will be talking about Love Island Games Season 2, episodes 12 through 14. I am, of course, Kirsten MacInnis, joined as always by the great Brian Scally. Scally, how are you?
I am doing very well. I'm excited to talk about these episodes. I would say mostly very well. There were a couple of eliminations and tough times in the I would say particularly the most recent episode, but lots going on in just this last little stretch of Love Island games.
Yes, we're getting down to the end, apparently. And listen, I don't want to bury the lead. I did cry at the end of episode 14, but it's fine.
Oh.
We'll get to it. Um, but first we have to go back. We have to go back to Friday night, where the last thing we saw was the uh accept package return to sender twist with Cassie
Casey.
Casey.
I was like, are we combining Casey and Gabby?
I was combining Casey and Gabby, with Gabby and Casey from Love Island UK and Love Island All Stars coming in. And so everyone's just kind of upset in the aftermath of that twist. Sydney is feeling bad about her decision to save Tyreek, saying, "Oh, maybe I should have saved
I
Marvin
mean,
instead."
I would say less bad about her decision to save Tyreek and feeling bad that she didn't feel like she could save Marvin. She and Marvin came in together, and she knows as how it goes on these shows when you are very new to the villa, especially you are coming in not as an American on Love Island Games. The audience might not know you as well, even if you were on a season of Too Hot to Handle that some people remember and some people don't. Like, you might not have the built-in fan base, and so Sydney knows that, feels like she basically threw Marvin to the wolves, and while that was probably the best decision for her, she's allowed to still feel guilty about it.
Yeah, 100%. And this is where, like, Justine is really trying to rally the girls a little bit, saying, the boys are really running this game. We need to start playing. We do have a say. We need to stop acting like just, passive. And this is where we then
I I was just gonna say I love this from Justine because I've seen Justine on the actual challenge, like the MTV challenge, and not just
Mhm.
Love Island's challenge, as we've been affectionately calling this. And in the first season there, where it was her, Sally, some other, of the girlies from Love Island, it was very much like they're here and they're here to have fun, but they're not really playing the game and they haven't really acclimated yet to a social strategy setting. And now Justine is here rallying the troops like, let's go, I know how this works, I've been through this before, we need to go to war because the boys are walking all over us and we can't let that happen anymore.
And we love this girl power moment. And this
Real.
is where people also start talking more about, like, Tyreek's decision to accept the package, even though he wasn't chosen by Gabby. And, Justine's talking about how she got played. Uh,
Tough.
Garby's like, I'm not going anywhere near him. And then, like, Andriana is, like, just there. She's like, I feel stupid. I never saw this as a game. I just liked a boy. And it's like, it's giving very much when Justine was on the real challenge, wasn't
Yeah.
prepared for that type of game. And that's okay.
She was not, but like I think for Justine and Andrina, both of them are realizing like I got with a boy who I knew played games, and then I was surprised when they played games. And why did I let that happen? So even when you are a veteran of, a social strategy game, there's nothing quite like Love Island games, and definitely nothing quite like Love Island Games season 2, which has developed even further to be
Yes.
this giant mess of relationships and strategy. So I don't blame either one of them for getting into the situation, but I was excited to see how they could maybe climb back out of it.
Yeah, it's very much like the parable of the frog and the scorpion, and it's like, "No, I won't take you across the lake because you'll sting me and we'll both drown." And the scorpion's like, "No, no, never do that." And then Johnny's the scorpion, basically.
Yeah, unfortunately, we do see sometimes the scorpion knows how to swim because it seems like
Yep,
maybe they escaped this unharmed. But
for
for
now.
I'm curious to talk about Justine and Tyreek because this is a couple who will be here at the end of the week. They will be talking. It does not smooth sailing by any means. But what do you think of Justine and Tyreek at this moment?
They have the most interesting conversation because Tyreek is apologizing for hurting her. You know, not for what he did, but because she was hurt by it. Classic apology trope. And he's like, it just came down to trust. And Justine's like, yeah, I shouldn't have trusted you. And he says, well, you made me look stupid too the day before. And Justine's like, I barely knew you then. Now I know you better. And he's like, it was one day. Like, it's just
It,
such a silly
yes.
conversation. But again, one day in Love Island is like many days in the real world. And so I feel like you actually can get to know someone a lot more within the course of a day.
I
Um,
I think my opinion is that it's less about the one day and more about the conversation they had on that one day,
yes.
where it seems like they really had a moment in the speakeasy and connected and made assurances to each other about them as a couple, them as a partnership in this game. And that's what Justine is taking issue with, because she said, like, if we never had that, I could have been, okay, fair play. I did it to you, you did it to me. It sucks on my end, but I understand it. But she now doesn't feel like she can trust him at all.
Yeah.
Well, do you
And
think she should?
I don't think she can trust him. I think that Tyreek has proven time and time again that he is not a person worthy of trust in this game.
Do you think Justine can trust Tyreek long enough to get to the finale?
I mean, if the finale is this weekend, maybe.
That's my thought. Is like, if Justine came to me and was like, I'm talking to Tyreek. I'm not sure if I trust him. What should I do? I'd be like, look, if Justine could find herself into a recoupling with Josh or with Johnny, who I think are maybe
Mhm.
two stronger guys in the house, then okay, like take the advantage like while you get there. But as of right now, I think Tyreek, maybe I'm wrong, but I believe that he does feel a little bad and doesn't regret it necessarily, but like got it out of his system and is like, I see that, I was being petty. And once I like got what I wanted, I didn't want it anymore. And if you had gone home, it would have sucked. But maybe I'm naive.
Yeah, I think it's more so at this moment in time, Tyreek is the one who most recently betrayed Justine, so he feels like he's won. And so if she can stick with him, he'll probably stick with her because he feels like he's the winner right now. But
Yeah.
it's hard to say. It is
Yeah.
hard to say.
I think that's a good point. I think like right now, Tyreek feels like I got the last laugh, so it's okay. Like
Yeah.
even if what you did to me was worse or I did to you was worse, like I got the last laugh. I am up. So I don't look stupid. And the biggest concern in being here is looking stupid. So if Justine is put in a position where she then has to make him look stupid again, whether by her own choice or by the game mechanic, then maybe she can't trust him. But I guess I'm just counting on the fact that we could swallow the pride for maybe 4 more days,
He
and
can't.
maybe he cannot. Should Justine, though, who is saying, I'm here to win, I'm here to win, I have no feelings, I'm here
Yeah.
to win,
Maybe.
she has to decide how much it's worth it to her.
I think that the most fun ending of the season is Justine winning again with Johnny this time and then taking the money from
Look,
him.
it would be so good. That's the problem with going to the finale with a Johnny or with a Tyreek, really, is uh, if they get the envelope that has the money in it, do they win? And I would say you might think, okay, well, the way it happened last time was Justine was more popular with the Islanders, which gave her the ability to choose to split or steal the money. So, oh, Justine going to be more popular, but I'm not so sure about that anymore. I feel like Johnny and Tyreek have a firm alliance on their side. As Justine says, the girls are not getting together. And I just don't know if she has the numbers to be able to sway to her side where she's not just going to get the money stolen from her at the end.
Yeah, she needs to be able to make it seems like a lot of people are going home right now in duels, and so she needs to kind of force, like, Toby and Tyreek into a duel, Johnny and, like, those 3, like, they have to go against each other so that the numbers can be lower to give her a stronger chance, because I really think even just taking out one of those 3 will kind of splinter that side quite a lot. I think specifically taking out one of the Brits, because then
Interesting.
that is the numbers there are weakened and Johnny is maybe more likely to be pulled back over to work with the Americans.
I
Uh,
don't know.
I don't know.
I don't
It's tough
know.
to say. Listen, we did not get into the Love Island podcast business to be getting into the weeds about alliances, but here we are.
I'm ready. Like, frankly,
I
I'm ready.
I do love it, but I just was not prepared for it to
Sure.
be this much going into season 2. Can we talk
Yeah.
about Johnny and Gabby?
Let's talk about Johnny and Gabby, because Johnny and
Because
Gabby come with a third wheel here also.
I Johnny and Gabby, huge start to win. They're extremely physical. They're extremely strong. If they can just stick it out to the end, I think they have a very good chance. Johnny does not like this woman.
I mean, Johnny likes making out with this woman, and he likes his chances of winning the game with this woman.
I I don't think I've ever paid that much attention to Johnny kissing over the years watching him on this
Mm.
show. I don't think he's a good kisser.
Oh, interesting.
I think his mouth is moving crazy.
I feel like in watching Love Island, I've started to think everyone's a bad kisser. So that is,
It's
but
better than last season when everyone was really
yes.
leading with their whole tongue. Like
Yeah.
nothing could be that bad,
Johnny
but
has not stuck out to me in the way that many before him have.
I and he didn't really stick out to me, and then I saw someone comment on social media, like, "Watch when Johnny is
Ugh,
kissing, and you'll notice, like, it's kinda odd," and
okay.
then now it's all I can see.
Well, for next time, I will know. But the way that Johnny and Gabby came together this week was quite the mess. Johnny gets
Yeah,
picked after he stands outside of the box that Gabby is in. She does decide to couple up with him. And for them, it's like, great, you're strong. I'm strong. We're going to do well in competitions. But there's a little bit of flirting there. He's throwing tons of compliments her way.
mhm. He's even complimenting her bob,
You
which,
know,
is not to say like, I don't think it's a bad bob by
no,
any
not at all.
means, but weird, like, it's just kind of the way he said it, I'm like, "This is kinda weird," and it's tough because like he sees that she's fit. She says, "Oh, like a personal trainer." He's like, "Jackpot, we've got this on lock." And he's really continuing to just talk shit about Andreina and how, she's not really good at the competitions and it's been hard to connect with her. And I'm like, you you chose not connecting with her when she proceeded to be bad at the challenges. I'm sorry.
Maybe. Again, she admitted fault in this. This is something she's heard before. She's not opening up, and so whatever the case may be, she's still hurt. Like, she still felt
Yeah.
as if they were in a spot where they were safe. He put her at risk. This is a terrible position, and so I do enjoy from Andrina that the next morning she does ask, like, who has the skimpiest bikini in the villa, because I need my revenge bikini.
And she's wearing it's like a crocheted bikini top, and they're like each side is like a poppy, and I am like, I mean, free the nipple. They could pop out at any moment because not a lot is covered on this bathing suit. This is where my boyfriend was like, "How do people's boobs like stay in position on this show?" And I had to break the horrible news to him that they are mostly fake and that
The news, at the least.
it's
Whether
easier
that
to
be,
keep fake boobs in place when
yeah,
they're big.
you broke the illusion.
I know, I totally ruined Love Island for him.
So of course, when she does this, we do see Johnny very quickly, like, okay, he's still making her breakfast. He's still gonna pull her
Yeah,
for a chat.
he made her breakfast, but he's like, here's a sandwich if you want it or not. It's like, okay, this is perhaps not the best way to do this. And she's like, no, she goes and makes pancakes for herself.
And I think
Uh,
that that was him trying to be like, I'm not going to force anything. I understand that you're mad, but I think it was giving, I don't really care.
yeah, 100%. It just came across a little too terse to be like properly caring. And when they do finally talk about the situation, Andrein is like, yes, like we had talked 1 day ago about you having concerns, and I told you I was going to work on it. And your response was to open the package and go for somebody else. And like a good person would not have done what you did.
Yeah, it is rough. He refuses to believe that she actually feels blindsided. He is insistent. She's fine with America's vote. He communicated with her, don't start this. It would have been dishonest to me, to you. I don't think he says to America, but he basically implies that if he didn't step forward in that situation. So he feels totally justified in his decision, but she is just completely out on him. He's a bad person. Get away from me.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't love conflating actions in a game with like bad person, but it's also like this is inherently so much more personal than other
Yeah.
social strategy games because they are like sleeping in the same bed and people are getting physical. So can't begrudge Andrina for feeling however she does. And I did really like that she went to Gabby and said, we are good. None of my like bad feelings are directed towards you. It's all just about Johnny, and I'm not going to tell you anything to out him, but just be careful because he switches girls more than he switches underwear.
Completely. Yeah, this does come to a head when Andrina finds out that she will be going into the first duel of this batch of episodes against Garby. And Johnny's even trying to give her some coaching, saying, like, I don't want you to go home. I want you. This was actually the craziest of. I don't know why you can't see this as an opportunity to go in there and basically come back to be with me. She's like, in what world?
Yeah. Like to him, he's like, if she can win a duel, then maybe she's good enough to come back and be with me again, and then we can continue. Which is like this is what really pushes it to me as like, yeah, they weren't connecting as much like emotionally, but he absolutely would be so happy to ride it to the end, making out with Andreina every night, and then as long as she could win the challenges with him, but she just can't.
That's the weirdest part to me. And if he comes out after the season and is just like, oh yeah, I was telling her I still liked her because I didn't want her to vote me in later if she was around, like, okay, I guess.
Yeah.
But where he would be like, she's boring, I didn't like her, I had to escape her. So like any way possible, and then going to her face and being like, you know, I would still be totally open to coupling up with you, and I really still like you, and I don't know why you think this means anything different. It's like, what?
I feel
Excuse
like
me?
he said she wasn't mentally stimulating, which is, I'm sorry. There are some mentally stimulating people on Love Island for sure, but that's not really the show you go on for like
Hmm.
scintillating conversation.
I don't know. I think regardless of what the reason why, I appreciated that Andrina got a little, fire in her at this point
Yes.
where when he says even if you come back and it's just fuck me, like that's fine. She's like, oh, it's gonna be fuck you if I'm back. So yeah, good for her.
Yeah, I
We
guess
don't
we just needed to see her get like really treated like shit by a man for her personality to get highlighted. Because the thing is like, I'm sure she shows her personality. They just don't show it to us in the
yeah.
edited product, right? And so at least this was like something they couldn't avoid showing us. So we got to know her a little bit better. And so we get to it's the first duel, and it's going to be the two boys, two girls with the fewest votes will be dueling. The loser will leave immediately. And so it is Garby versus Andreina and Marvin versus Kendall. And the duel is you're blindfolded in an arena. You have a like a flag on your belt, and you have a bell on you so that your opponent can hear where you are, and you need to pull the tag or the flag off of your opponent's belt, and the first person to do that 3 times will win the duel, and the other will be sent home.
I've seen this challenge a lot, whether it be on the actual challenge on whatever other show, and I don't think it makes great TV. I'm gonna be honest.
It's not the best TV for sure, but I do think that it's like a good challenge. So I understand why
Okay.
it keeps getting brought up, but they really do need to figure out how to show it better on
I,
TV.
I will usually assume this is just gonna go to the person with the greater wingspan, as they're gonna be able to just hold the person further away from them at that point. But it's not really how it goes. Garby comes out really hard against Andrena and wins the
Mhm.
first 2 rounds. Andrena has a decent comeback, winning rounds 3 and 4, which I'll say good for Andrena after a
Yeah.
pretty terrible dual performance in her first time in. But ultimately, Garby wins round 5 with a 1 second difference. And it's the end of Andrena on Love Island Games.
Yeah, it was so close in the last round that they had to go to a photo finish, which is that's fun. Like if it's gonna be a duel, I like for it to be super close and competitive.
For sure.
That's much more entertaining than someone just like Lucinda mopping the floor with Andrina was entertaining in a different way, but like just like competitively, I like it when it's closer. So then we get Marvin versus Kendall, and this is where they're actually kind of trading rounds. Like Kendall's winning the odd rounds and Marvin's winning the even rounds. And ultimately, Kendall takes it in the 5th round.
They went so hard. Marvin is like jumping from one side of the arena to the other, like all in one leap, just trying to confuse Kendall on where he is. They're like shaking their arm out to one side, making them think they're
Mm-hmm.
running in the opposite direction. And so I will say again, a good job by both of them. But I thought Marvin had this for sure. Even the edit of the episode, there was so much Kendall and Garby being like, I hope we don't go home. I hope we're still here together. And I was like, well, they're
Yeah.
doomed. We're losing both of these two. And so, to my surprise, Kendall and Garby both coming away with the wins here.
And as much as Kendall did piss me off on Friday night, I was happy for Kendall and Garby to stay in this situation.
Yeah, poor Marvin, but at the same time, when Marvin was like, absolutely, I could have beat Johnny and Chris in any physical elimination, but then he loses here to Kendall. I mean, like maybe some misplaced confidence.
Yeah, maybe like a little overconfident. Okay, also since you mentioned Chris, did you notice that in all of the after sun, exit press, everything, there's no splint on Chris's finger. There's nothing to secure it. So
Yeah, I
where's
did
the
even
broken
see
finger?
some TikTok journalists who happened to be in the Fiji airport at the same time as Chris being like, I'm not seeing any broken fingers. So I don't really know what his motivation would be for just deciding to leave. I don't think that sounds like Chris, but maybe it was
No.
an early call.
I'm assuming that he definitely did feel like his finger was super injured. Like medical looked at him and said, "No, you can't finish it," but it
Yeah,
was just obviously a less severe injury than what we had maybe been led to believe.
sure. Which to be fair, like someone after a joke could punch me in the arm and I'm think I'm gonna pass away. So I understand a low pain tolerance.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But did just want to make sure we address that for the listeners. So then this is where we moved into the Monday night episode. This is where, Ken and Garby are so happy. They prove themselves. They're making out. They're doing very well together.
They're
Uh
good couple competitively. I don't feel like we got a whole lot on them beyond like, I'm so happy we're doing great in this stretch.
yeah, like earlier in the season we got more of kind of an emotional connection and like a cute date and soul ties situation, but we haven't really seen that much from them, and I have to imagine it's because the producers kind of thought they were fairly safe. And so
Ooh.
they were like, well, we don't have to show, or potentially the producers were like, they are not safe at all. Why waste our airtime on these people who are
Mm.
going to go home? I don't know which it is, but it could be either.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that we see by this point, and pretty much after they both make the decision to return the gifts to sender at the end of last batch's episodes, that
Mhm.
they're pretty good. They're willing to move past it. I think for Garby, especially, like there's still that little red flag in her brain, but they're going to not let people get between them anymore. They're going to prioritize each other and what they say to each other and believing each other. And so I'm still enjoying them on the show at this point.
I still think they're a very cute couple.
I do too. Yeah, I look. There is a decent percent chance that they could do decently here, but
Mhm.
at the same time, they're not really in the numbers.
No, they are not in the numbers. Um, Justin and Justine and I can't talk today, which is
Yeah,
it's really bad for a podcaster, but words are
we
just not
feel
forming when I try to talk. Justine and Tyreek also talk about the night before, and it's kind of the situation of, Justine's talking about Johnny blowing up his game. They're still talking about can they trust each other, but it's like a lot more flirty.
it's definitely pretty back to flirty at this
Yeah.
point. Justine, you can see, is like kind of, okay, moving the hair behind the ear and
Yeah,
like, okay.
she's teasing a little bit. Tyreek's like, "Oh, just want you to smile between these games." Like very, very flirty, very, very cute, and it culminates in a makeout. So they're back on.
It's a toxic cute. Like, I don't want this
Yeah.
to continue beyond the villa, but as of right now, when Justine says, like, what are we gonna be just one-upping each other this whole time? And he says he wouldn't have it any other way. I'm like, yeah, I giggled. Like,
I laughed. Is he a little evil? Yeah. But does he make me laugh? Also, yes.
yeah, I mean, have I never rooted for a villain before? Like, I'm willing to be okay with it. I think that Justine, maybe keep it in mind for post Villa. But if you want to have fun right now, like whatever, I don't care.
Yeah, you're in a 3-week show in Fiji. Have fun. Like you're all hot. Have fun.
Yeah, yeah. No, I don't think that there is any way that I see this even, where you usually say they will have 3 to 5 nights of like great fun. I don't think that we see that even out of this couple. I think as soon as cameras say cut, they're, bye, never talk to you ever again. But for now, it's fine. It's cute.
Yeah, it's like they would write in each other's yearbook, but that's about it kind of situation. We also like even like that night it's bedtime and Tyreek's like, "Are you going to fall in love with me?" And Justine's like, "Well, if we have sex probably."
Mm, I didn't know it was on the table, but mm.
I love that she's like just so like, "Yeah, if we have sex I probably will."
Yep.
So, careful.
So like maybe
Uh
that's why they're not right now.
and it's like everyone is like making out that night for the most part
Couples are
in
getting
bed.
coupley. I was
Mhm.
surprised. I was like, "Oh, okay, look at this couple. Oh, okay, look at this other couple. Oh, okay." So, yeah, lots of noises, I think, in the
Yeah.
dark. So it's like, "Oh, were you kissing?" It's like everyone was kissing last night.
Yeah, it was everyone. There's no way to specifically know who it was because it was everyone.
It's true, it's true.
Uh,
Now,
we
what
have
did
to
you
talk about
go
I
ahead.
assume you're asking me about the onion.
There we go. Give me the
Yeah,
onion.
we have to talk about this because the next morning it's like people are kind of talking, "Oh, the vibes are kind of off. This is kind of weird." And Isaiah out of nowhere is like, "I'm just going to bite into a raw onion. That'll wake me up." And I stopped and I said, "What?"
Yeah,
And then he does it.
I assume that a raw onion biting into it would wake me up. It would subsequently put me to sleep, like on the ground. I don't think that I would survive, but I have not seen this move before, I must say.
I've never seen it before and I hope to never see it again. And then it just like cut to this white onion on the counter with a big bite out of it. And like it's not even a red onion, like a red onion or like a green onion. It's like those are things that you eat raw in like a sandwich or a salad or whatever. That is a cooking onion. That
Yeah.
is a cooking onion. What are you doing?
Yeah, I don't know if it just was pledge behavior that he's grown used to or something at this point. Isaiah's matured, but maybe that frontal lobe has one or two more developments coming.
No, but nobody made him do that. Like, he independently was like, I am going to take a bite out of a raw onion.
Yes.
And I feel like people were kind of like, but why though? And
Maybe it
he
was an
was like,
intimidation factor.
I would be intimidated by someone taking a bite out of a raw onion. But I think I'd be scared. I'd be like, we have to get him out of this game for our own safety because this is clearly a psychopath.
When the final is just who can eat the most raw onions, like I know who I'm betting on.
You know what? They would never make it who could eat the most raw onions. It would have to be who could eat the most raw onions, spit them into somebody's
Yes,
mouth, and then
that's a good
like
point.
something else. So,
Yep.
ugh.
Good point. Now, something a little nicer than onions. What'd you think of the team challenge coming out this week?
I thought it was very fun. I thought that the draft for the team members was very fun. I enjoyed like it okay. It didn't need to go quite so long. Like they literally were doing it like it's a recoupling. Like we're choosing this girl because we're choosing that. No, just say picking you. Boom, boom, boom. Schoolyard pick doesn't have to be so deep.
We wouldn't even get to see it on TV if there was no reasoning. So I'm okay with it taking an extra minute as long as we get to see the order, because there were some things, I guess, that surprised me. I think it's very telling that Tyreek and Justine, Josh and Andrea are the first 4 picks respectively,
Mm-hmm.
which really flags up like who are these strong couples in this house that we need to be on the lookout later down the line. So I thought that was
Yes.
interesting.
It was interesting. I thought it was very interesting. Isaiah was the second last picked.
Yeah, Well, what was Isaiah versus Kendall? Which direction would you have gone in?
To me, that's a toss up of a
Yeah,
pick. And
well,
so
I don't really blame him.
I can see picking Kendall because he's now won a duel the night before, so he has a bit of momentum, whereas Isaiah's done less challenges.
Yeah. I think it really was just like, we want to play with our friends. Like that's all
Yeah.
that happened here, which I think might bite you in the butt as things come down to it, how this might play out. I was surprised to see Lucinda picked over Sydney. I feel like generally people thought Sydney was a good competitor, but I had forgotten that they had not really gotten to see that put into practice.
Yeah.
But regardless, what they're going to have to do, they find out, is that they're going to play this in pairs with one player on each team taking it solo. That player will be chosen by the opposing team. When they get there, they will have to lick giant lollies to reveal a code. Use that
That
code
looked
to pick.
gross. Can we talk about what were they licking off those lollies? Because it looked nasty to
I
me.
assume just like whipped cream.
Still disgusting to
Cool
me.
Whip, whatever. Yeah. Definitely. I don't feel like that's so out of the norm. That's not shocking.
No, it's not shocking or out of the norm, but I personally would hate it. So I think it's gross.
Mm,
And I thought it
mm.
looked gross.
You have to use that code to get a key, use the key to unlock a rope, go down the rope to fill the containers where there are sprinkles, jam, and packing peanuts, which are supposedly marshmallows, and then pump a
Mhm.
balloon till it bursts. And this is going to be a race where the cumulative times are added up. Team that
Yes.
has the fastest time gets safety from the next elimination.
Yes. And there also is, because the teams were an odd number of people, each team got to choose one person on the
Yeah, I did
other
say that.
team. Did you say that?
Yes.
I lost it. I'm brain dead today. I don't know what's happened. I'm so sorry, Scally. What did you think about the decision of Lucinda versus Sydney as the singles?
I think it made sense where for Lucinda and Sydney, they were 2 of the last people picked. Lucinda, we've seen fall apart, not really care about some missions as much as others. So you could just end up on a day where Lucinda decides she doesn't really care. And I think that that is a risk you're running. Now, the thing is, when Lucinda is told she's bad or that like feels like she's the underdog, it kind of motivates her a little bit. So maybe that was the wrong move. But
Yeah.
otherwise, Sydney, it is really just Nicola, Garby, and Justine are 3 of the strongest women in the house. So it was, who are you
Yeah.
going to pick
And
besides her? Maybe Kendall.
so the people that went alone, their time would be doubled.
Yes.
And I think that's dumb.
I understood it from a maybe they were going to do it because like this decision was the most important part of it, and so they were going to double it. Now it makes sense because the solos had to only fill up half of the like vial, so
Mhm.
sure, but eh, I don't
Yeah,
know,
but it's
it's
like
like it could go either
every
way.
everyone else had 2 people to transport
Yeah,
the stuff, and so it would go faster with 2 people than 1. So, like,
true.
you're, like, double handicapping the person that's going alone. It didn't seem right to me, but I guess I can't really articulate exactly why. Um, do
I
you
get
wanna
that.
talk about any of the particular matchups?
I thought that the Tyreek and Toby versus Justine and Josh. I was surprised because I felt like Justine and Josh were doing very well to start things out, and to find out that Justine and Josh came in like 6th place overall of the duos to
Wild.
against Tyreek and Toby's 1st place overall. Like they got really crushed.
Yeah, like, Tyreek and Toby were able to, like, sit down, have a chat, have a laugh.
Yep.
Also, everyone is in, like, Oompa Loompa wigs, so it was a lot of, like, fuck-ass Bob energy in the villa, and, like, when Kendall and Garby are doing it, they're like, "When you've got the power of the Bob, nothing can stop you." And I'm like, "Okay." One thing that we did find on social media, so Johnny and Gabby's team had to inflate pink balloons until they
Oh.
pop at the end, and the other team had to inflate yellow balloons. And allegedly, pink balloons are less strong than yellow balloons because of how much dye is put into the
Oh.
side of the balloon. So the balloons having like yellow balloons are more flexible because there's less dye in them. And so it's actually like a huge
Wow.
advantage to get the pink balloon. And if you're ever in a balloon popping contest, the only way to be fair is if it's the same color balloon on both sides.
That is knowledge I never ever would have known.
No, me too. I saw it on TikTok.
I need the TikTok AI singing lady to explain why that is exactly.
Please.
Um,
It's just like because so much more dye, has to
sure.
go
No, I get
into
that.
it. It just weakens it. But
For
yeah, please
sure.
AI TikTok singing. The only AI I respect, the singing explainer on TikTok.
Yeah.
Tell me how it works.
And I will say Kendall and Garby were very much ahead of Gabby and Johnny before that.
Yeah.
But the problem that Kendall didn't realize is when he's saying you can't beat the power of the bob, he forgot that Gabby was double bobbed up with her real bob and her wig bob. So
Wow. Yeah, the power of the bob cannot be beaten.
the double
Damn.
bob is too powerful.
I didn't even consider the double bob. That shouldn't be allowed.
Bobception is too much for me
They
personally.
should make her wear a long wig so she can only have one bob.
Yes. Now, the way that this goes, it gets pretty obvious once Gabby and Johnny's team wins 3 out of 4 of
Yeah.
the heats that they're going to win. And they ultimately do. They celebrate quite loudly. I did enjoy Sydney's comment that's like, whatever, Johnny will be on Love Island season 80. So, a little drag, a little drag.
A little drag, and it was good. Sydney also in the Sunday night episode was wearing, or maybe it was Monday. I can't remember. She was wearing a t-shirt that just said "World's Best Ex-Girlfriend"
Yes,
just in the villa with her ex, which is iconic.
it's a good one.
But yeah, so then this is where, Johnny and Gabby are like vibing on the dock. They're kissing a little, and they get a text because their team is the Power Squad, and they need to secretly assemble in the bedroom for a meeting.
The Power Squad, I'm not going to lie, I was interested. Tell me more about the Power Squad.
Yeah, I thought it was very interesting. My favorite part was actually when Gabby is bringing Lucinda in, and Lucinda's like, "Oh, this is so fun. I've never had a chat in the bedroom before." And then they get in and she's like, "Oh." Like she sees
the
Tyreek sitting on the bed and she's like, "Oh, never
It's her
mind."
closest ally she gets brought into a room with, and she is horrified. Like, I thought we were gonna have fun, and this is gonna be games, and I don't like the game part of this.
I love, honestly, Lucinda as just like a prisoner in the Love Island Games villa is very funny to me.
Yeah, I have seen quite a bit of Lucinda on Love Island, and I will say this is my favorite Lucinda I have ever had the pleasure of watching on Love Island. I feel like she does not love Love Island games, but I think Love Island games kind of loves her.
Yes. It's working for her. It is
Yeah.
absolutely working for her. I think this is a great opportunity for her to go international, in a new way. Like she already went
There we go.
Australia, but now she's getting USA. She's done the holy trinity of the three
The big
major
three.
Love Islands. Uh Maybe unholy trinity would be more accurate, but
Fair.
whatever. So they, as a power squad, need to choose two boys and two girls who will duel from the losing team. And they don't know that the duel will result in an elimination specifically, but it that is what happened.
I
I mean,
mean,
like it wasn't written that that's what would happen, but I think they all knew.
I guess I wasn't on the lookout for if it explicitly said that, but I feel like once you say duel, it's assumed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that makes sense. And this is where we get those little face cards that Isaiah and Nicola had in the
Yes.
hideaway earlier in the season. And I gotta say, when they bring out these face cards, I get very excited because this means drama, strategy, mess.
Mhm.
I'm happy.
I love this, and they are definitely arguing. They're trying to choose who is a target, and then who can take that target out of the remaining, and it definitely gets a little heated. Andrea is like, I do not want Josh in the duel,
Yeah. That's
but
the
she's
thing is
outnumbered.
because they did not have to draft their teams as couples, we ended up in a spot where Andrea's couple is on the other side, Tyreek's couple on the other side,
Mhm.
Toby's couple on the other side. So there was quite a few ways where it was going to result in someone being unhappy, and it felt almost impossible to
Yeah.
avoid such a situation. Might have literally been. So I was not surprised when people felt unheard during this meeting.
Yeah, it was impossible to make everybody happy, as you said. And so they finally make their decision, and then they're told, "You have to mark your targets with a kiss." So they have to then go down and, like, kiss the person to mark them. Uh, Toby kisses Garby on the forehead. Johnny gives Nicola a cheek kiss. Lucinda does like a double cheek kiss with Josh. And this is the one that I noticed the most because Josh is like, oh, you don't have to do that. Like he's like so happy to get a cheek kiss, but it's the mark of death. And then Gabby kisses Kendall on the cheek and they all just go to bed.
This was fun. I think I wish that they didn't tell them how it happened. And it just was like, something at last night's party went down where the four of you have been chosen for elimination. And like, just don't explain it. I think it probably gets back to them fairly quickly from there, but
Yeah,
don't give away your
you're
secrets.
not wrong, but also they said that it was a kiss, and then only Garby immediately recognized that she had been kissed. Like everyone else was like, "Well, wait, who got
Wait,
kissed?
who?
Like even the people who got kissed didn't necessarily remember getting kissed." So I was like,
Sure.
maybe they had to spell it out.
Probably. And yeah, this is going to be a unfortunate realization for quite a few people where they realize they're going to have to go into yet another duel. And for Kendall and Garby, this is two in a row, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That's tough.
To get put in twice in a like because now they've been put in because of America's vote and they've been put in by other people in the villa with them. That is it's a war on two fronts. That's not easy.
And like once you're both going in, you yourself only have a 50% chance of staying. Your couple only has a 50% chance of staying. So it's like 50% of 50% the next week of 50% of 50%. It's like, all right, we're down to like 6.25% or 6.5%. Like this is not good odds that we get to stay in the villa together.
No, not ideal,
Mm-mm.
unfortunately. But we will get to see it. So we have before the duel itself, Nicola's training with Justine, which I loved so much. Like, I cannot emphasize how much I love Nicola. And she's like so prepared. She's so ready to compete. She's like, I'm bigger than Garby. Like, I can beat her. I could take her on. Like, they're practicing for like a physical fight. I love this.
Mhm. I love Nicola. I think that this was super fun. I think as soon as they find out, how it happens, she's doing like the little evil
Yes.
hands. Like she's super funny. She's a great personality. I would love to see her on something else. I will say going into this episode, I did start to feel like I don't really know what her place is moving forward in the villa. I felt like there was a weird scene where she was talking to like Andreina and she's like, "Oh, you're so beautiful. I wish you were like I was as beautiful as you." And like then they just cut. It's like this is a weird scene to include to like of her, and I felt like we were getting a little bit into the territory of everyone has to feel bad for this person and like
Mm.
I don't want to just I don't know have that forced like as much as I like her I don't want to feel like
See,
you are pity this person now.
I didn't take that from that scene at all. I thought that was just
Mm,
how she was reassuring Andreina. I didn't even necessarily think that it was that she feels like she's not beautiful. I think she just was like grasping at anything to try and make Andreina feel better. I had a
mm.
totally different read on that.
For me it's less how she views herself and how the show is editing her, and so it's always like she's the underdog, she is the outsider, she is, and that's like a combination of other scenes put together.
Yeah, that's fair. I just love her. I hope to see her
Yeah,
many, many times on Love Island Games, and I mean they have to bring her back to Love Island Games if there's a season 3. They literally
I
have
would
to.
like it.
So the duel itself is they are in, the boxing ring. There's like a platform in the middle that has 5 extremely heavy like I don't even want to say medicine balls because it felt like it was like less.
I think they were like old school medicine balls.
They could have been
Like
old school medicine balls. They were extremely heavy, and you have 45 seconds. And at the end of that time, whichever side has more of the balls in their corner loses the
yeah,
duel. And so Garby wins round 1 like pretty easily. Like Nicola's fighting, but Garby was like definitely hustling
yep.
more, a little faster on her feet and gets through it. And then in round 2, Nicola came out hard. Like I really feel like Nicola was winning the duel, and she's bending down to pick up a medicine ball. And when Garby throws the next one across, it hits Nicola right in the side of the face. It was so scary. Like, and she goes down like a sack of potatoes because they're heavy. Like these are not
Yep.
just like 5 pounds, even, which like five
No.
pounds to the face would also hurt a lot. These are heavy. Like people are struggling to push them. I've got to assume it was at least 25 pounds
Yep.
in the bags. And I was really worried because I think getting hit in the head with something like that, like I do think that could be a life-threatening injury.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we've heard that like it seems like she is okay, but just not medically cleared to continue in that duel. So like hoping nothing but the best for Nicola and her health.
Mhm.
But she's like getting tested by medical, and she's like, "No, I want to continue. I'm doing fine. Like I want to continue. I want to continue." And when that happens on like Survivor and it's like beast mode cowboy, I'm like, take him away. He's literally dying. Like, come on. But when Nicola is sitting there, like, no, I'm fine. Put me in. And like, she remembers where she is and she can move her feet and everything. Like, she's obviously not fine, but she's like, no, put me in, put me in. My heart broke for her so much.
Yeah, I immediately went and followed both her and Garby at this point because I was like, either whoever goes home, like I just I
Yeah,
care.
you're right.
So
I've got to follow them right now. You're so
right?
right.
And so I felt like I need the update on not just the show saying she's okay, she's great, but we're not going to see her again because she can't return to the villa right now. And also, the sun is down and it's about 15 hours later than when we previously started filming. So, very clear that there was at least a pause down, whether they
Mm-hmm.
sat there the whole time or they went inside and then reset later. Uh, Nicola very clearly like went to the hospital and was checked out, which I'm glad that they did that. I don't know why they
Yeah.
weren't like wearing helmets in the first place, at
Yes,
least.
and then why didn't they put helmets on Kendall and Josh for
Yep,
their duel? Like,
yep.
you've clearly seen what can happen. Put them in fucking helmets.
Yeah, when I said this was Love Island, the challenge, I didn't expect it to come with all of the injuries that the challenge sometimes comes with and
Right.
forgotten safety precautions. So I think they can do better there. I will say I did not expect Garby to absolutely chuck the hell out of that medicine ball in the way that she did
Yeah.
so effortlessly. And so I don't know in which direction spot two comes because I do feel like they are running and just really playing good defense at this point, kind of on both ends. But it's sad to lose Nicola this way, especially someone who I feel like was becoming a
Mhm.
big fan favorite. And so, as much as I feel like her storyline was kind of hitting a wall, I am sad to lose her.
Yeah, 100%. It's just such a brutal way for someone to go, and I gotta say, I did not like seeing her get hit in the face with a medicine ball and go down like
No.
that. Like, that was it was graphic. There should have been, like, a warning that you're gonna see, like,
Yeah.
something horrible. Like, at least the fact that we saw it, I was like, "Okay, well, she's at least, like, alive,"
Yeah.
because they
Ooh.
wouldn't show us if she wasn't, I hope. But it was so scary. And then Kendall and Josh still had to do the same duel afterwards. And again, they have helmets. They wear helmets for way
So
less risky
often.
challenges than this. So I don't understand what was not clicking for them with the no helmets. And Josh destroys in round 1. Like, it's not even
Yep.
close. Um and then round 2 I thought was very interesting because they basically like each had 2 balls just in their back corner, and then they're, like, fighting over the 3rd ball for the full 45 seconds, and it literally Kendall just loses by 1 second at like, it just ended up on his side at the wrong time, and now
I think
Kendall has to
this
go home.
was the right strategy for Kendall because in round
Yes.
one, like when he ran to get one ball to throw over and Josh, like Josh had returned all four over the wall in that time. So getting to the point where there were two over the line and you just were like playing defense, trying to keep that ball back in Josh's court. I think that was a good adjustment of
Yes.
strategy by Kendall. I will, congratulate him on that because I think a lot of people just go down a lot easier. I think basically even in the deliberation it very much was like, okay, if we send Josh in versus Casey, he takes out Casey, what does that do for us? At least we can have Josh take out Kendall. Most people counted Kendall completely out when they were throwing him in against Josh, and especially once we saw the challenge. So good on Kendall. Sad we're losing Kendall and Garby as a couple here.
I am like, what do you mean Garby is still in the villa and Kendall is not?
Yeah, and I think this is something that happened a lot on Love Island 7, where we were expecting maybe people to go home, and they did not. And I think especially after that, I did not expect Garby to go home, especially with $250,000 on the line, especially considering you don't need a very strong romantic connection in the villa to be winning or in contention of winning that prize.
Mhm.
But it still is not like a total flaw in the format, but just like a little bit of a hiccup because I don't really know what Garby's position or storyline can be moving forward.
Yeah, it's tough because, as one of the international contestants, it's possible that she could have originally been included kind of in the numbers with
Yep.
the Tyreek, Toby, Johnny group. But because she was in a couple with Kendall, that kind of kept her out of those numbers. And I'm like, well, is it too late for her to get scooped up?
Trying to think. So we have Casey as an
Mhm.
available number, considering Nicola went home. So you would
Yeah.
think Garby and Casey, maybe something happens there. Maybe we get another bombshell. I don't feel like that's probably going to happen at this point if we are indeed ending on Sunday. But would Casey be involved in the international alliance? Now, something
Yeah.
Casey brought up is the fact, or that Toby brought up, I'm sorry, is the fact that they were previously on Love Island UK All Stars together, albeit for a brief time. But in that brief time, they managed to get into an argument. So I don't know if Casey's slotting right in with the UK alliance.
Yikes. Yeah, I guess who's where's Casey gonna go from here? Like, and Casey at the end of the episode is like, well, this sucks. I
Yeah.
lost. I lost my couple. I have no one. Like,
He lost his
tough.
best friend because he knew Kendall before the show even.
Well, and why does Kendall know everyone?
Because Kendall is fame hungry.
Clout demon.
Because Kendall is, in the influencing game. And so we had actually seen this on our radar at one point
Yeah.
when Kendall was putting up TikToks, I believe, with Casey and Tom from Love Island UK at a point.
Well, if you think I see Kendall's,
I think we had discussed
like,
it long ago, but it is, Love Island history at this point.
well, listen, my brain hardly works today for the things I watched in the last 3 days. So if you're asking me to remember things from long ago, unfortunately, it's not gonna work. But yeah, so Kendall, Kendall's very emotional when he leaves. Uh, he's like kind of crying, but like
I would
I
call it
don't
a
know.
cry. I feel like he was crying and actively fighting it. No?
Yeah, you're right. He's fighting it. He's fighting it so hard that I'm like, what do you mean? Like
Let
why can't you just cry?
please, that's not what men do on reality TV. No, I think that he's embarrassed. Like he says, he doesn't want to like look at Garby. He feels bad that he's leaving her alone here, and it's just like I failed her. And I think for Kendall, he probably is also under the suspicion that this might be the end for him and Garby. He says they're gonna give it a shot, but how much do I believe that? Not really.
I mean, if she goes to LA for any amount of time, it's possible.
Sure.
But I don't know. I guess Kendall can also go to Belgium.
My thing is Kendall wants to be an influencer. If Kendall wants to ride the Love Island couple clout for any degree, maybe we do a little more trying than we otherwise might have, Kendall.
You're not wrong. You're
Because
not wrong.
it's not as if Garby is a Love Island darling. She doesn't
No.
come from, Love Island US or Love Island UK, so she does not have quite the following that maybe Kendall
No.
would be attracted to. But I still think, regardless, a Love Island couple does better than a Love Island single on social media.
Yeah, and we've never even really gotten to see Kendall in a relationship, and he might want to join forces to maximize their joint slay, you know?
That is true. That is true. And so, I hope that that does well. But for now,
Yeah.
that's it. That's Kendall and Garby, and that's Nicola as a whole.
Yes, sending best wishes to Nicola for good health and that she's okay, and hopefully we'll get to see her again on another show, on the challenge, on Love Island Game season 3, whatever. Like, would love to see her. And yeah, we will have no episode tomorrow slash probably today while you're listening because it's every day but hump day. And then on Friday night, I'll be back, but Scally will not. And I'll be joined by Puyas and Vakili to talk about the Thursday and Friday episodes.
It is true. Yes, we are decoupling for a week.
Oh my
See,
God.
you decided to see your chances with someone equally as competitive. I am very jealous that I am missing Puya appearing on the pod, but I can't wait to listen to what you guys have to say.
I'm going to Casa More, baby.
Mm.
But and see, that's the thing, right? The best part about missing a podcast is getting to like listen to your own podcast because this is absolutely like one of my favorite podcasts, but I don't get to listen to it because I'm sitting here making it. So
It's true.
if I ever get to miss one, then I'm like, yes, now I get to listen to the Love Island podcast. So you do get a slight benefit in that way, which is always fun. But other than that, where else can people find you where you will be this week?
Ooh, people can find me over on the Free Agents podcast talking about the challenge and the Amazing Race Big Brother edition with Matt Lagori, as well as on Twitter at Brian_Scally, on Blue Sky at Brian Scally, and on Twitch at twitch.tv/bscally.
Amazing. And if you would like to hear more from me, you can listen to Mess Magnets, where myself and Sasha Joseph are talking pop culture, celebrity gossip, trending topics. And you can follow me everywhere at Kirsten Said What, including twitch.tv/Kirsten Said What. We will see you after the Friday night episode, talking about episodes 15 and 16 of Love Island Games. If you like this podcast, you can like it, you can share it, you can leave a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts, which really helps more people to find the show. And we are not live, we are posted on the RHAP YouTube channel, youtube.com/@RHAP. And so you can go chat with us in the comments there. I am always responding in that location. We will see you at the end of this week. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.